Hi again, welcome to Pearl Magazine. There was a time when the ability to fashion something out of wood was a high-demand skill. But as machines and automation replace such craftsmen, woodwork has become a fading trade. Here in Hong Kong, though, a few master craftsmen are still hard at work, determined to preserve rare skills that played a once thriving role in Hong Kong's past.
So far, I'm still working. I can still climb up the pile to retrieve some wood.
Products made from this wood convey feelings. I'm happy just seeing them. It will eventually be lost in Hong Kong. Of course, it's a shame. But there's nothing we can do. Times have changed.
Inheritance has no boundaries, like running a relay. When I'm out of breath, then the next one is up. That's passing the torch.
'73-year-old Kun has been running this workshop in Sheng Shui for decades. He burns joss sticks to start each day.
I offer joss sticks to Lu Ban, Master Lu Ban from 2,500 years ago. The rest are Guan Yu and the Earth God.
Lu Ban is commonly worshipped by craftsmen, handymen, and manual laborers. Burning joss sticks is a routine started by Kun's father. This factory is a family business.
It's a thankfulness and respect. Like my parents, you must respect them. When you're in this trade, worshipping Lu Ban is a must. He offers wisdom, sometimes without us even knowing maybe.
The scent of wood fills the air, as well as Kun's life. But long ago, when he was young, Kun only entered the trade because he needed money to feed his family.
I was so broke. My grandfather passed away and I owed people money. I needed to make a living. Picking an important trade is crucial in an agricultural society. Wood crafting is a worthy trade skill.
Hong Kong's wood trade had its glory days after World War II as mainland migrants streamed into the city. Demand for wood increased to meet a rising demand for hillside huts. By the 1970s, wood factories were everywhere, and Hong Kong even started exporting wood products.
At that time, you needed planks to build a wooden hut. Demand for wood came from construction. Factories couldn't keep up. In the most glorious times in the 70s and 80s, since we had the machines, small workshops wanting to survive would buy small pieces of wood from us and then cut to the size they needed.
Over the years, wood imports were gradually regulated and the number of wood workshops started to decline. Forest preservation and environmental protection awareness led many factories and workshops in Kutang to shut down.
Most of the imported wood was already processed, and it was cheaper than ours. We couldn't compete. Without wood cutting, I'd have to rent the place out as a warehouse to survive. People with capital started trading eco-friendly wood.
But opportunity sometimes appears when every other option has been exhausted. One day, Kun spotted some discarded wood from old lamp posts. He thought he could give them new life.
If they're dumped in landfills, this wood would lose its life meaning. It can actually offer a new meaning from something that seems useless. New uses can be found. I could sell them as planks and make a living.
Kun has always believed in returning something to the world where something else has been taken, in his case, killing trees. So giving something back now means giving new life to discarded wood.
Keeping them is a mourning, a thankfulness, making a chair so you can sit on it. Once this was part of a big tree. Now that it's gone, I sit on it. That's a way to thank nature. Something wasteful has been made valuable.
But that's easier said than done. Transforming a giant log into all sorts of useful products is a complicated process.
Usually there is a weight here. The weight leverages so you can pull on it. Once it's balanced, the wood won't come up. It's fixed so it won't deviate. So now I can start sawing. Kun's working partner is a giant bank saw. Decades ago, this tool cost about as much as a new flat. But now, it's almost worthless. This is an antique. The bank saw is about 60 years old now. These tools have witnessed Hong Kong's development. If we keep them, they can let people know about the struggles of yesterday and how some people survived using these tools. It's a reminiscence and preservation.
But operating the machine has led to painful moments as well. Kun and his sister have been injured several times over the years.
Just like construction workers, injuries while cutting is common among wood craftsmen. So far, I'm still working. I can still climb up the pile to retrieve some wood. These are just flesh wounds. I've had broken hands and fingers, feet crushed by wood or stepped on nails.
The wood factory originally started in North Point. It was then moved to Chai Wan before ending up here in Kutang. But the northern metropolis development means many in the area must move out. Kun's factory will have to find a new home again this June when his land lot is reclaimed by the government.
Our industry has low productivity. It pales compared to the greater development. This fringe area is now being turned into an important place. It's a great change.
Even if he decides to move, Kun's two daughters may not take over the family business. He wants to pass on his skills, so a few years ago he started a workshop to teach woodworking. Kun hopes young people can learn more about wood.
Inheritance has no boundaries. If people know more about wood and decide to be creative with wood, we should offer them a chance. Like running a relay. When I'm out of breath, then the next one is up. That's passing the torch.
In his workshop, one of the things Kun hopes his students can understand is the balance between nature and humans.
The growth of a tree is witnessed through these rings. Like trees, our lives are full of difficulties and require changes to survive. As seasons pass, staying content is important, so is seeking fun. This is a survival theory. In these life survival concepts, every life is equal.
A few years ago, Kun wrote a public letter asking if the demise of his decades-old factory was inevitable amid Hong Kong's rapidly growing urban economy. As his factory's removal deadline quickly approaches, Kun has taken a different perspective.
In this society, if you're useless, they make you disappear. You're 70 years old, you should retire and stop messing about. If you feel you're still useful, your remaining years should be useful. Life and death are not that important. Life is just about arrival and departure. Now you see things disappearing, but it's just a process. There's no need to worry about these things.
When we come back, rare skills, a vanishing industry, and a fading history. Stay with us. Welcome back. Wooden deities and worshipping tablets are common items in many Chinese homes. They aren't expensive, but the skills needed to create them by hand require decades of practice. These days, though, many such items can be mass-produced by machines. While they might have been just looking for a way to make money when they were young, elderly craftsmen in Hong Kong are hoping to instill a wider appreciation of this disappearing art form. Every morning at 9:30, Kwok opens his shop for business. From divine statues to tools for worship rituals, Kwok's made them all himself. Originally from Zhejiang province, Kwok learned his woodworking at a young age. He's been in business for more than 50 years.
Around age 15, I finished school and then I started honing my skills. There weren't many fields to farm back home with so many farmers there. Just a small lot for each person. That's why rural people pick up other skills.
Kwok's family has been in woodwork for 5 generations. He picked this career path because he could stay indoors, away from the elements. But early on, he realized it wouldn't be as easy as he thought it would be.
My previous generations were in business. My father and grandfather carved wood.
You need to strengthen your hands to become steady. Then you carve plants and scenery. 8 hours a day non-stop, until your fingers are swollen.
Kwok spends many hours at a desk, required planning when creating a piece of wooden art.
Actually, I draw out the details on paper. I just print them on, saving the trouble to draw on each piece. The markings are done, so I can start carving, then apply paints after.
After the draft work, Kwok gets busy carving. The technique for a carving knife is different from using a pen.
The most difficult part is writing the letters. It is the most difficult to control. It takes practice after practice. I lose control if I rush it. Sometimes I'll still make a mistake even after plenty of practice. If the wood is too soft, my writing will go outside more easily.
After carving the characters, Kwok then applies the color to complete this earth god tablet.
Sometimes the client wants it in gold. It's cheaper to apply just gold paint, but gold foil is more popular and nicer.
The tools Kwok uses are key. He picks his own tools carefully and even makes his own carving knives.
I make this myself. I bought my blades, some nicer blades. Cut them in pieces and sharpen them. These steel grades are higher than those ready-made carving knives. I only buy famous brand steel, not those lesser-known brands.
With a sharp knife in one hand and a piece of wood in the other, Kwok has brought many pieces of wood to life.
It's my friend. It's providing me a living. I like oak the most for its fragrance. It smells nice and it's easier to carve. Rosewood is more difficult. Like plywood, they are difficult. Artificial wood has no emotion. Wood from trees has emotions. I'm happy just seeing them. Sandalwood looks beautiful and is smooth after carving.
Master Kwok's sister-in-law started her shop with her husband in 1983. She says the wood trade has declined over the years. Demand for wooden worshipping statues has fallen so much they hardly make them anymore.
Fishmongers tend to buy these statues, male and female statues. During the time of the older generations, like their parents and grandparents in the 80s, there were many fishermen in Yau Ma Tei. Many have resettled on land now. Due to the lack of space there, they don't have space to keep them anymore.
Many of the statues sold at the shop are machine-made in mainland factories.
Labor costs are cheaper in mainland China. People order directly from them. Many people have moved out or quit the industry. There are fewer craftsmen now.
Many handcrafted products have been replaced by machines. Kwok still insists on using his hands to slowly carve out products one by one.
Handcrafted products are more detailed and come with soul. It looks just different. Machine-made ones are dull and all look the same. Handmade ones are different. After all, they are made by people. Machines produce no emotion. Maybe you cannot tell, but we make them and we can tell just looking at them. These are all recently opened. This road is all new.
For 40 years in Yau Ma Tei, Kwok has never stopped woodworking. But on Reclamation Street, all of the other shops from the old days are gone.
Some were making dragon and phoenix decorations for Chinese restaurants. They are gone now. Those aren't popular anymore. In the old days, we would say hi and chat. Times have changed and many things are outdated. It means no customers for many businesses.
The street used to be filled with woodworking shops, but he's the only one left now. Sometimes he feels like he's from a different era.
There used to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shops, including mine. One of them moved to Shanghai Street. The rest are gone. It's old school now. No one makes things by hand anymore. Even furniture is made by machines. Very few make them by hand.
Apart from wood products, Kwok would provide maintenance services for many local temples.
It's those area underneath there. Water can reach there. Fixing that beam, I refurbish and repaint them. I help repair those words that say Tin Hao Temple, covering them with good foil.
Such work may eventually go to people on the mainland. Kwok is considering retirement in the next year or so. His nephew will take over his shop, but will only sell worshipping tablets. The family's woodworking skills could disappear.
He won't do complicated jobs like those statues. Those will be done in the mainland. He will just do worshipping tablets. It's simpler. No carving, just applying paints and good foil.
10 years ago, an application was filed to include wood carving in Hong Kong's intangible cultural heritage inventory. Kwok never thought that after 40 years in the trade, younger generations might consider it valuable. But it may be too little, too late.
It will eventually be lost in Hong Kong. Nothing I can do. If it doesn't provide a living, nobody will learn the skill. It's such a narrow trade, without much demand. The more work, the more people learning, vice versa. Of course, it's a shame. But there's nothing we can do. Times have changed.
That's Pearl Magazine for this week. Join us again, same time next time. Bye for now.